You're obviously listening to the opening theme song. Yep. I can tell by your head nod. Hey, and so that you're like waiting for like the very end point of like the opening theme song as a word, so that like by the time that like the theme song is
And we're live.
Yes, exactly.
Hey. Hello, everyone. Hey, and there's Isaiah, finally
hey,
able to join us.
Zaya, you came just on time. Hey, how you doing?
How's it going?
It is going well. You were wearing a nice nerd shirt.
Yes.
Yep. So do you guys want to hear the story of what happened this morning?
Apparently, you told your boss to go fuck himself, and then you stormed out while shitting a trail of fire, like out the door or something.
Well,
you burned the place down. You killed everyone in a rage. You're on the run from the police.
Not quite, but so we had a really bad storm here last night, and it knocked out power this morning. And apparently I couldn't wash clothes, so I told my boss what was going on, and then she said, "Well, you should have known this before the storm hit." And then she got mad at me and was like, "See, that puts us in a bad position because you should have known better." It's like, how was I supposed to know that the power and the water was going to be messed up from a storm? So I hung up on her. I was like,
"Well, it's always your fault. It's never their fault. That's just the way capitalism
It's no
works.
one's fault. It's just shit happens.
It's your fault. You are to blame."
Yeah, that's now I will admit to this. Like over a decade ago or something like that. Honestly, around the time that I was like listening to like not necessarily far right, they were kind of like liberal centrist, but like a man's show about man's issues, as it were. I would kind of like it. I think I said something similar to that to like a friend of mine who like it's actually is honestly on the spectrum and like I just didn't have clean clothes. So yeah, it was weird. He was like vomiting while naked in the bathroom because he didn't want to vomit onto like his shirt or something like that. And that was the first time that I'm like, that friend met my oldest brother, and to watch my oldest brother like asked one of my other friends at the party, it's just like, is your friend okay? Because he was vomiting in the bathroom naked as well. But I was aimlessly critical of my friend for like, how come you don't do laundry? But he's on the spectrum and spoony, so it's just like, yeah, I know better now, but it's just like at the time, it's just like, yeah. So, but yeah, it's just like, well, I got a lot of laundry too right now, actually. But like, yeah, no one expects the power to go out or the water to go out because you never know when the storm happens, as it were.
Yeah, she also said that she was going to find someone else to work the weekends. I guess she's like sending me a signal, which is fine because I'm planning on hopefully I'm going down to Titusville hopefully in a couple of weeks to look for jobs there. So it's whatever. I mean, I've been there since 2015 anyway, so
yeah. But like, I was so when you said that like you had the storm, I was thinking it's like, oh wait a minute, it's the work kind of like ask you to like come in during the storm and stuff like that, because there's places that like do that, as it were.
There's places that require you to work in the middle of a tornado and then die.
Yes. Let's see, what is yeah, but also it's kind of like a meme of like the winter storms or something like that, which in some parts of the world is like a happens of winter storms. We kind of have that here, honestly. And hold on, and okay.
Can I show you what it looks like outside?
Winter
Wonderland, kind of visible. We got a couple inches of snow last night.
Yeah.
Where do you live at, John?
South Carolina, Greenville.
Okay.
So up in the hills.
Yeah,
I've never seen snow before.
Well, that's what you get for living in the shithole country. I mean, Florida.
Yeah.
We got like snow on Christmas too, so it's just like that. And hello, Mithro, hello, Jordan P, and hello, David.
Don't say hello to Mithril and David. They're lying and saying it's evening. It's not evening. It's afternoon.
No. According to Kevin and Logan, and Mithril is in the correct time zone. Everyone else is in the
time zones are a
time
lie.
Zone.
They were invented by the Jews to make us do like work at night and stuff. I mean, no. No time zones.
No. I thought it was.
The Bible says the Earth is flat.
No. I thought it was like we had to blame like Thomas Edison on like for us working at night.
No. He invented daylight savings time.
Don't we have to blame Ben Franklin? It's Ben Franklin we have to blame for this.
I think Ben Franklin also like suggested daylight savings as a joke too. But then like after World War I or something like that, it was like, no, let's seriously do this. This work. And it's like it's one of the things where like we're still doing it just because. But like I said, so Isaiah, you had that interesting conversation with your boss. I had similar interesting conversations where it's like me being very, very cheeky. I said to my boss, okay, work at the gas station, boring job. But whenever there's a customer, I would work with the customers. I will offer the customers to do the help to the customers. Other times, fuck this shit that like if you can lean, you can clean. Fuck that shit. I'm going to
time to lean, time to clean. Fuck you.
Yes. As I said, I found the blind spot in the cameras so I can sit on the counter and so I can lean my back up against something. It was the cigarette racks, as it were. Everybody like when
I go to my job, I just sit down and read a Star Trek book.
Mm-hmm. I didn't read books. I should have read books down. If only I was an anarchist or I had a laptop with like internet, that would have brought that in and like, hey, Kim is like, I can't even to hear that sarcasm about time zones and the amount of people I met who actually were like, we should get rid of time zones and everyone should be in my time zone. It's like, yeah, it is exactly Groundhog. And hello, Groundhog, how you doing?
Sadly, our internet doesn't exist anymore at my job.
Someone
apparently used it to watch porn on the projector at the IMAX. Wait, I'm serious. Yeah, it's a crazy story.
That's so human.
I mean, yeah, if you have the capability to do that and no one else is there, but like, or people are there, they are able to consent to that, or like if the guy locks the door.
I think someone hacked the system and they were able to do it.
Okay, so like apparently there was a hacking. I'm wondering what the person was doing, but like, I mean, watch it if you had the chance to watch porn on IMAX the movie screen. Then yeah, I would want to do that.
I've heard stories in the pandemic where like churches have like they would live stream the service and someone would like hack porn or oh god.
That sort of thing has happened before, which is like why the default setting in like Zoom and then Zoom calls, because Zoom was used a lot at the start of the pandemic, is that like it's only the person who is like the host of the call, in this case John Brockman, is able to like share audio and video, which is why whenever any of us wants to like share something, then like he has to like allow us to do it, and he also can like specifically allow only audio, specifically allow video, and so on and so forth. Yeah, because yeah, that was actually a problem. The school board meeting and something like that, and someone hacked it to like show porn because.
I support hacking churches. Churches are bad.
So
not necessarily to non-consensually show porn to people, but
exactly
to rob them. Definitely rob churches.
The super rich churches, absolutely, for sure. All of those like evangelical churches and stuff like that. Yeah,
fuck them.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a square pizza from like my childhood growing up in school?
It's Totino's.
It's just it's round. You can see the curve.
It's actually square.
Oh, it is square. Okay.
Rectangle, like, more perceptively.
And not all pizzas are round. Some pizzas are square.
Yeah, why are you?
Not all pizzas, Isaiah.
All pizzas matter.
Why I'm eating cheap pizza? Because like I woke up not that long ago. Honestly, it was like up until like 3 a.m. last night, playing golf with friends on Economicons channel with Groundhog 2010.
I'm gonna buy Popeyes later.
I'm still
black, so we gotta eat fried chicken.
I'm cooking chicken nuggets right now.
We gotta have our daily fried chicken diet, us black folks.
Yeah, and for anyone who doesn't understand why that connection it is, it's because at the time, especially in the South, that's where during slavery times, it was the cheapest food that you can ever get. So the cheapest food is given to the slaves, as it were, or the indentured servitude or like sharecropping like black folks after the slavery thing. So that's where the association has come from.
Which is so weird because like racist redneck Southerners would say, "You just like fried like the racist thing to demean black people on is fried chicken." Despite I think a lot of white folks like fried chicken too. So it's like
yeah,
it's like okay, that's the best you can do.
mm-hmm.
Okay. And oh, hold on. Remember when Pat Robinson one time said, asshole Pat Robinson one time said he thought macaroni and cheese was a black thing. Do you guys ever recall that?
I don't recall that.
Yes, the macaroni with the mozzarella is very black.
Someone asked him about black culture, because an old white guy.
Pat Robertson, P-Robes, was incredibly, horrifically, hugely a white supremacist.
And he was said, "Macaroni and cheese, is that a black thing?"
Yeah. It's just like a lot of people have like a lot of different things. Let's see. Groundhog 2010 said like it was half price this afternoon showing off the local old people's homes, and there were 12 deaths. Oh god.
What happened?
Nothing. I'm reading out like a Mithros quote, as it were. In Groundhog said in like a university ethics class, I got to hear the amazing story of someone butt naked jerking off in the university computer lab, and it had like a glass wall to porn. Oh geez, yeah. And then Joe P said, one time at my job, I walked into two coworkers watching porn on one of their phones in the break rooms, and they saw me and quickly turned it off.
I've had coworkers that have watched porn on their computer, working in the back cleaning dishes. So I don't know.
Yeah,
we've all seen some weird shit at work.
I mean, just make sure that, again, it's like if as long as it's like behind a locked door, so like you can easily turn it off, or like when it is happening, or like if you're watching on a phone, make sure that your back is to it, because like consent is important. No, if people need to consent in order to like watch porn, as it were. So like if you're having it out in the open and something like that, then it's just like no. Some people are repulsed by that, so be respectful.
I mean, I don't mind if you watch porn. I don't give a shit. I mean,
well, yeah, but for other people's like considerations, if they walk in on it, like that guy who was projecting the porn on IMAX, you gotta like lock the door somehow so that like no one can came in and then accidentally see that. It almost reminds me of like in like a Fight Club where Tyler Durden was like sneaking that one
splicing cock shots into films.
Yeah.
Remember, he's supposed to be the bad guy.
Yes.
Except that a lot of disaffected white guys don't seem to realize that.
Mm-hmm. There was also a guy who watched porns in the background of a news program here.
I remember that. He was on a trading floor, I think.
Oh.
A stockbroker. And then, of course, there's Alex Jones with his trans porn.
Yep. That was not an ad he was watching. No, that was a site he's been to a couple of times. It's like,
I wonder what kind of porn Tucker Carlson watches.
Oh, he's totally into interracial cock porn.
Yeah.
Oh, I imagine big black guys with big black cocks. Okay, I can see it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of like terrible like conservative people, okay, I do have like a article to share. So yeah, there we go. Yeah, copy the link. Coming into porn talk. I'm at the right place. Yes, you are.
Yes, you are, Joe.
But we are mentioning terrible people. This is not related to like what kind of porn that they watch, but Glenn Beck, that terrible the propagandist like person.
Is he still alive?
He is still alive, and I'm sorry, he's from Washington State, Mount Vernon. But like, gonna read from the Daily Beast article because I didn't really fully. No, wait, it's a Twitter link to the Daily Beast article. I didn't want to like click on this link multiple times so that so Daily Beast tells me, "Oh, hey, you like this article? Why don't you subscribe to the Daily Beast?" As were? No, thanks. Because as he claims to be unvaccinated from COVID-19, and I think he's got like a his second bout of COVID, and now it's in his lungs.
I hope he dies.
Mm-hmm.
Breaks my heart.
Saying shit like that is why I got myself another 30-day ban on Facebook.
Well, I'm right there with you. I got banned off Facebook for like I got banned off Facebook for like saying that because the woman that shot Dante Wright got arrested and got like a sentence, and then of course on Facebook all the hicks come out and are like, well, he should have just followed the law and he wouldn't have got shot. And then I was like, well, had I been a Capitol policeman, I would have shot all the rioters at the Capitol. But then I got banned for saying that. So
because again, Colin Kaepernick and all the other black athletes that took the knee,
black terrorists, I think you mean.
Exactly. That's what they say. They think those people are like traitors.
They attacked our football. That's America.
They attacked the institution of football. Started burning their the football T-shirts. But then
they tried to kill Mike Pence at the Super Bowl.
Hey, Limpy, I'm locked out of my Facebook account, and Facebook does have that rule about real names too, which is difficult for trans people too. You have to
Eli,
although
trans man.
No, sorry. To be funny though, I never seen so many people get so butthurt over football. Like, grow the fuck up, man.
Oh.
But Eli, one of the trans podcasters over at the Cis Are Getting Out of Hand, finally was allowed to change his name on Facebook. They have opened it up. His problem was that somebody had reported him as having a fake name way back in the day. And so he had to verify his name, and so he got stuck with his dead name. But Facebook has changed something such that it is now easier to change away from your dead name to your real name, even if you've verified in the past your real name. I don't know exactly what it is or how it is, but you go into the background tiddlywink stuff,
profile or something like that.
Yeah,
account settings.
Names now.
Yeah,
so just an update for trans folks who need to change their names.
Before I go, I just finished my Space Shuttle Enterprise.
Nice.
So I'll be showing that to Steve on in the Patreon Hangout Sunday.
Today is Sunday.
Next Sunday.
No, not that.
Last.
2 weeks from now.
Sunday. Yeah.
2 weeks from now. It's the 30th. This month is going to be the 3rd, so it's 2 weeks from now. Yeah. Is that? Yeah. There are 5 Sundays in this month right now. Time zones and time. That's where.
No time zones are a lie.
So calendars are a lie too. Then.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh yeah. I gotta run in a few minutes too.
That's right, Groundhog. Yeah, PayPal was unable to change your name. And that's the thing. I also pointed this out. There's a lot of people, even cis people, would want to change their names. But I do know that for my dad and my uncles, as well. Not going to go deep into the story, but it's safe to say is that their stepdad was not a person that they liked a lot. My dad only refers to as DP, while my uncle, his younger brother, only refers to him as that man. So they wanted to change the last name back to Scott, which is their bio dad's their birth dad's last name as well. Even they have to do the whole thing of have to have the paperwork whenever they move or do things legally, because here's yes, I changed my name. Here is the document showing that I changed my name as well. So it's kind of one does an extra hassle. So if it's a hassle for cis people wanting to change their names, and just to mention it is for trans people as well. Yeah, it should be, and honestly, it should be easy. If for some reason you don't like your birth name because it's named after a grandpa, and you find out the grandpa is a piece of shit or something like that, or you want to disconnect from your family altogether, then you're it should be easy to change the name. And PayPal requires what the U.S. requires, which isn't how we do it in New Zealand. Yeah, that does suck.
So yeah, that's my life.
It's now or never. Sorry.
I want to live forever. Yes. Yeah, life sucks. You have to like work a job.
I don't want to live forever. That shows you how white. That shows you how black I am, ladies and gentlemen.
Next, you're gonna start singing. What's her name? Avril Lavigne and.
We just have to mention Canada. We just have to mention Canada, and he'll.
Why you gotta make things so complicated?
Or bring Tim on to like join the show, or bring back Corey on to join the show because Corey, you're from Canada, and then sing Avril Lavigne.
Isn't Laura Southern from Canada?
Unfortunately, yes. Lauren Southern's from Canada. Jordan Peterson's from Canada. Gavin McGinnis.
It's almost like Canada isn't better than the U.S.
Justin Bieber's from Canada.
Wow, that he does not deserve to be lumped in with Claire Lehman and Jordan Peterson.
He's an asshole another way.
Yeah, because yes, Canada does have their like far right, like terrible people as it were,
and they are racist as hell, and they have mass graves of Native Americans and so on and so forth.
Yep, the treatment of the indigenous folks up there is just as terrible as it is in the United States because oil's more important than like the lands and treaties of indigenous folks as it were. Or like, how dare like the Micmac like farm more lobsters than the white people because the white.
Hey, it has to be fair. Fair means treating people the same starting now.
Starting now. Yes, I say. And I'm trying to say, name change is important and complicated for a lot of reasons that impact safety. Yeah, it's terrible.
There was a hostage situation in Texas last night.
I did hear about that.
Yes. And I think it was Ben Shapiro complaining. Was it Ben Shapiro? Somebody was complaining that it was anti-Semitic, that it's not front page news in the New York Times.
You know, unlike the fact that Trump had the most like anti-Semitic like attacks under that president. There's a lot of people who still like Trump despite her daughter marrying a Jewish person. So
I'm not sure. The fascists probably had some like interesting conversations about that, but like he's our guy, but his daughter is I don't even.
This Aryan goddess married a Jewish person. Oh no! Sorry, incels.
I mean, just like with like a lot of things, the fascists will be willing to use like the people that like they hate for the time being, as it were, because it's useful to have tokens. Candace Owen. I said Candace White, but it's like that's kind of like apt. Milo Yiannopoulos, Blair White.
From now on, she's Candace White.
Nick Fuentes.
Nick Fuentes. Oh, the Nick Fuentes that says he is the Hispanic as were, but Castillo as were the special kind of Hispanic that's like better than all the other Hispanics.
It's conquistadors, white, Spanish, not Mayans. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah.
There's a reason that the U.S. Census has Hispanic white and Hispanic non-white.
Yes. Again, it's just like I told the story before, but like just because someone is from Brazil doesn't mean that they're like a person of color. Because like one person, someone was asking for like YouTubers who are like YouTubers of color, so we're because like BreadTube's so white, as it were, which is still a problem. Then someone suggested like this Brazilian YouTuber, hey, they have a YouTube channel and they're Brazilian, so they're a person of color. To which the person said, I'm not a person of color because my ancestors came from Europe, as it were. I'm not indigenous, as it were.
I live in America, so I guess that makes me a Native American. Yeah, that's how that works.
Someone said that Elon Musk. I guess someone on Fox News said that Elon Musk was an African American.
Actually, that's kind of correct because he was actually born in South Africa.
Well, yeah, but
I will cut you.
No, I'm not arguing against them.
Way to prove that the Pacific Northwest is full of white supremacists, Jonathan.
I'm not arguing against them. I'm just saying. I mean, I guess he has a point, but it just sounds awkward when. Okay. Yeah. Okay. And I guess technically he is. I've met white people from South Africa who they would be African American. I don't know. Racial labels are so stupid.
I mean, also, the Kamala Harris is like all the African American. It just means that she's black when her father's from Jamaica and from India, and her mother's from Jamaica. Yeah, so neither of those are Africa.
Right. I heard people used to call Indians Indians. Is that true?
That's just, Indian. It's just the elision that commonly happens when people are talking fast.
Yeah, the Indian.
Sort of like we spell it ing, but a lot of people pronounce it in instead of ing.
Yeah.
And you know how we write our words such that they have spaces in between them? When you listen to people talk, they don't actually have spaces in between their words. Okay,
yeah.
That's a lie.
Yeah, and that's a good point, Joe McClory. Like every place has like treated its indigenous population like shit, and unless they we're the ones in charge. Yeah, pretty much.
Basically, everywhere white people go, they have treated the place like girlfriends treat sweatshirts.
Mm-hmm.
This is mine now.
Yes, exactly, and that's where they would say, and that's where they point to like all of Africa and say, "You're all one ethnicity of black now," essentially. But then like other people who are not from there, like Haiti or like Jamaica and other places, get lumped in as black now too. India with the right color, I guess, or the right complexion.
If you're Saddam Rushdie, then yeah, maybe.
That's a good. And they Rated Pox, yes, the Stephen Crowder is also Canadian. Gad Sad is also Canadian. But Gad Sad, unfortunately, Jordan B. Peterson outshined Gad Sad. Gad Sad just not that interesting after Jordan B.
Gad Sad is so pathetic, so desperate to remind people that, hey, I'm in the dark web. I'm in the dark web. I'm in the electric dark web.
Yes.
I was totally doing the bigoted thing before Peterson was. I'm relevant. I'm relevant and I'm important.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he just never got the traction that Jordan B. Peterson. Before Jordan B. Peterson, he also was trying for a decade to get the traction, and then finally did when he opposed C16.
Mm-hmm. Well, it doesn't help Gad Sad's case that he is a brown-skinned Jewish guy, and he's trying to appeal to white supremacists.
Yep. It's almost like racism real, and we made it up. Yeah, exactly. White supremacists made up the whiteness thing, and all these other divisions as were to just try to prove that they're better than other things, which is why they were so big into the fad of phrenology.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of which, Claire Lehman. We brought it full circle.
Who?
Claire Lehman. She's a phrenologist. Her magazine. I can't remember what it's called. Claire Lehman is big into phrenology.
I forgot about that. Any entertainment or news or TV shows that you guys have seen recently?
As you might have guessed from the title of today's thing, I watched Don't Look Up last night.
Ah, nice.
Very frustrating. Yeah. Found it very difficult to get through the first, all of it.
I loved it.
Yeah, so it's very frustrating. It's this is real. This is just reality right now. You're just showing us what we already know in reality to entertain us. It's just you're making me feel sad as I'm trying to laugh at oh, we're all gonna die.
Meryl Streep is looking really good for a 72-year-old.
I was gonna say Meryl Streep was looking fine.
Hey Phoenix, how are you doing, Phoenix? Everyone give Phoenix money.
But yeah, it's a very poignant movie for sure.
Yeah, the life sucks. The government sucks. What the government did something terrible.
Life sucks. Government sucks. Rich people suck. The right wing sucks.
I suck.
No, you don't.
It's one of the first movies I've ever seen to actually call out centrists too.
Oh, okay, that's good because they're trying to listen to it from both sides. Or Because like the fairness of the media is on that, trying to like play both sides were yeah. Trying to find Phoenix's GoFundMe. Where
The thing I found unbelievable that didn't really mesh with reality was the idea that the news wouldn't immediately hop on this terrible, fearful thing and would instead ignore it in favor of fluff pieces. The media would totally sell a giant scare like this. They would go nuts with it.
Mm-hmm.
I can see all the Republican governors, if a comment like that was hitting to Earth, would say, "See, this is God's punishment for the gays." That's happening so bad.
They say it all the time after like the AIDS, after like even 9/11. Some evangelicals were saying that after like September 11th, after any of their hurricanes.
It's like gays, lesbian. Oh, that's the same thing. Gays, mixed race, rap,
women
music,
showing their boobs,
right? Autism. Just every drunk
wet ass p word. P word stands wet ass p word. P word stands for female genitalia.
It stands for a cat. It's a type of cat.
One time at that Comic-Con before the Comic-Cons now start to like charge once the Will Wheaton, okay, it's problematic in some ways, but Will Wheaton would like give out free autographs. You have to pay to get a photo of him, but he would do free autographs, I swear. Until the Comic-Con wanted their cut of the autographs, like charging fees and stuff like that. So all of our guests had to like the charge for their autographs at this Comic-Con, as were for-profit Comic-Cons, as were. But like someone actually came up with like a stuffed like a cat, like a nice little tiny stuffed cat, and that it was a woman too that like asked Will Wheaton, "Could you please sign my pussy?"
I probably would have been like, "Oh, like okay."
He was like taking it back for a second, but like had a good laugh at that too.
That would take me back a second too. I was like, okay, that's one way to phrase it.
So Phoenix, so the government is like threatening to like take away your like benefits, as were. Fucking hell. What is their excuse to trying to take away your benefits now? As were just like more proof that like you need to like show us of like or things or like yeah, that sucks. And right now, I'm the only one on the camera right now. So, hello, this is the Summer Round of Geek Show. Screw all everyone else as a word. They're fine people, but now I'm running the show as a word. So we're gonna like talk about what everyone wants to do. Yeah, well, we can talk about like Don't Look Up when like John Brockman gets back.
Although, like when it came to Don't Look Up, I did like the fact that Jennifer Lawrence was rapping like Wu-Tang, like she was commanding Data. That was funny. Appreciation for white girls just went up 1,000% after that.
Wheaton.
I know
that was problematic.
I don't remember anything like he Stan said like he said that like people it was just like not the kind of thing that like, oh, he's a terrible person, don't like listen to it.
Apparently he's been homophobic in the past, but he's apologized for that.
If this was kind of like recent where he's just like been an asshole as a word, so it's like so it's not like something big as a word that's like where it's like I would say, oh no I want to watch
Jesse Singal is defending him.
Well, okay, that's a bad start right there.
And Lacey Green.
Okay, it's like so
this was 2.5 years ago, August of 2018.
And so it's like one-time things. So like that's probably what I'm remembering. It was around that time as well.
Lacey Green is still around.
Lacey Green is still around.
I haven't seen anything from her in the last like.
Yeah, I was gonna say she's been dead.
But like I said, this was from August of 2018. So.
I've actually, you know what, Phoenix, this is from one of your photos. I remember seeing Lacey Green's as she was like hanging out with like one that turf trans woman, trans medicalist, like a woman as her. I forgot the name of this one because I forgot who she was until I saw her face, honestly. Hey, and it was like, oh, that terrible person is like one of these women that like left the left because the left was like too woke,
decent.
as it were. Yes.
I mean,
stop asking me to treat people like people. God.
I've always been attracted to Lacey Green, but I didn't know she was kind of an asshole.
She took the red pill, and
she dove deep into the turfy manosphere.
So Kevin Logan's The Descent of Manosphere, up to like 11 episode like 33 or something like that, because Kevin was making those videos in like 2015, 2016. He would like respond to these like asshole like manospheres of various different like kinds as were, and and then he would be a bit somewhere the inevitable bit about there's an inevitable bit about rape, but then the inevitable bit about Lacey Green because they always attack Lacey Green because she was like a feminist that was making pop feminist like kind of content on like MTV on
wow. Prince Andrew has gotten stripped of all his titles.
Oh yeah, that was another story that I was going to bring up. Yes, it's all because yes, there's that because let's see. Okay, this is a Guardian article. So I'm gonna put it into the chat right now. I think is in a connection.
Oh, I see. It's because he raped a white woman.
Yes, exactly. I was about to say that he pulled a Matt Gaetz as it were, because like there's also an update about that. Matt Gaetz' ex-girlfriend is testifying against him as it were, but like I think it's definitely like sexual assault allegations. I'm trying to remember. I'm just wait. Okay, yeah. At the end of the at the end of the article, the Guardian article, the heirs mentioned Jeffrey Epstein and Gail Silverstein. So like that's probably where it's like Prince Andrew's got the hookup, as it were, from like Epstein and Jill and Ghislaine Maxwell.
No, it's Ghislaine Maxwell. That's what the drunken peasants calls her.
Yeah. I'm not a fan of like that word as word. We don't need to like go to misogyny in order to like put down like Ghislaine Maxwell as word.
Okay.
I mean, speaking of Kevin Logan, he did like called like Sean Head June, who's a terrible person still, but he did like call her like armored skeptics like cum bucket as were, which is a statement he did rightfully apologize, because even like other friends of like Kevin Logan said, Kevin, no, you crossed the line there. That was a misogyny there to like say that a woman, June Sean Head, is just nothing but like a prop for like someone else to be used as a word, objectifying her in that way. So
okay, my bad.
No problem. This is why we have to like call each other out on that. It's okay if I mean, I have been called a cum guzzler before. It happened when I was playing poker, and I sucked out on the person. Went all in like 5-6, as it were. He had aces, and I cracked him to a 2-pair. He was really salty about that and called me a cum guzzler. But then again, I can also say, "Oh, come on! Don't like this honor time-honored tradition."
You can buy all the cum you want with all his money.
So yes, Prince Andrews is like stripped of all of his titles, as it were. So it's like it has to take like Prince Andrews is like sexually assaulting or raping a white woman in order for like him to be like less princely. So yeah,
but he's still His Royal Highness. He's just not allowed to use it during the lawsuit.
Yes, exactly. He's not representing the royal family as in like he's being sued. Yep. Again, Mephisto, why do we have a queen? Why do you have a queen? It's just like, Yeah, that's what I was saying about like Lacey Green, as it were. To continue on that story, it's like this: there was a time that she was producing pop feminist content of Unhook on MTV, and like the far right anti-feminists were just using that as just like the low-hanging fruit to like chud dunk on her, as it were, with all their like response videos. Kevin Logan would then defend him, but then 2017 VidCon 2017, this is the same VidCon where like Lindsay Ellis, H-Bomber Guy, and ContraPoints, and Dan Olsen too. He was in that photo too.
He was the one who had the grace to look embarrassed.
I used to like Lindsay Ellis. What happened?
We haven't brought up what happened to Lindsay Ellis recently. I should also talk about that too. But like,
I gotta run though. But just
okay, then I'll mention it like next time when you're on, as we're. I'll repeat myself as we're.
Okay. I'll see you around, guys.
She said something not well. She got dogpiled. She quit YouTube.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. That's the short end of it. Because like this was like months ago when like that one Rylja movie from Disney came out, and she said like we need a category for this kind of like Avatar: The Last Airbender ripoff or something like that. And I don't know the criticism honestly of it, but I know that she got like criticized by a lot of people. But some of it which was in good faith, or some of it which like was taking her to task for it. Like Asian Americans like find that like problematic. Were now, was the response to her saying that overblown? Probably was, or some of it was, as it were. But like, it was everyone criticizing her, like the PC, like left, like the woke left dogpiling her. It wasn't that. And she was lumping like any criticism that she received as being like, the entire left is the Twitter mob is like hitting on me, as it were. I believe that she got harassed. I believe that she got bullied and death threats. I can't believe that because she's a visible woman on the internet, as it were. And fortunately, in this world, it kind of comes to her territory. Not to say it's right though, but it does come with the territory. But what's me and like Jamie J and Phoenix too really have a problem with is her not acknowledging the criticism. So basically after that happened, she said mask off and I got canceled, as it were. And woe is me, I got canceled. I got canceled, woe is me, I got canceled. So then like weeks ago she said goodbye. Here's the thing, she just said goodbye on her Patreon. At the time that she said goodbye on her Patreon, I wonder if it's like still up. I should have like screenshot it though.
And I don't think Prince Andrew is at risk of going to prison. This is a civil case rather than a criminal case.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. So he's just gonna like get sued.
He's at risk of losing a couple $100,000.
Okay, yeah. I should like actually read these news articles before. Mm-hmm. So let's see. Hey, interesting. Wait, so it's like, huh? Okay, so maybe she took down the goodbye like a essay on her Patreon, as it were. Because Lindsay Ellis, at the time she said goodbye, just like wrote in a whole essay, as it were, about that. I wish I took screenshots of it because there were some parts of it I want like actually like be critical of it. Maybe I can like find it somewhere because like people took screenshots of it, or maybe someone archived it. But at the time that she said goodbye, she had 8,867 like patrons. Her Patreon is still open. I bet I can still join that $2 a minimum, as it were, if I want to. She now has like 11,497 patrons, as it were. I saw it at a higher number like earlier at like 11,000 like 721, as it were. But still, that's like 11,500 patrons still at the minimum of $2 a month, as it were. Yes, like Patreon like it takes like a 30% like a cut, as it were. But like even if like everyone is just like donating at just $2, there's that still like $22,000, almost $23,000 a month, as it were. About like with 30% cut, $22,000 for not doing anything right now. And it was weird when I talked about that when Lindsay Ellis was trending because she said goodbye. I got like replied by a big account that I don't follow, and I was like, wait a minute, why are you replying to me? Evil's Fox? I like your videos on YouTube, as it were. You're replying to me to say to like to justify like because they said she has like employees that like she has to like pay for. Yes, I want those employees of her to be able to like eat and like have healthcare and all those other things, but that's why I'm a fucking communist. That's why I hate capitalism, because and now it's just like, hey, it's just a couple of parts of like maybe we can have some criticism of, or like have discussions of, like not being listening to believe to someone when they say that like people's comments on Twitter like emotionally affects them, that they felt like want to quit or something like that, or actually quit and stuff like. Okay, we can have that discussion as we're sure, but there were parts of it that what she said, she cannot control her stands. She cannot control her audience.
Mm-hmm.
And I say bullshit to that, because that's the same excuse that Bering and Sarkon Khan gave of like they can't control their audience when like they would respond to a bedroom feminist, and then their audience wouldn't attack that bedroom feminist with downvoting or just like hateful mean comments as words. Like no, either you can control your audience, and here's an example of that. I know that people can control the audiences. Jeff Lee Sterling, and like early on in the early pod positions, they'll make jokes to like Gavin Dunas, the musician who does Miracle of Sound, because they would make fun of him for him liking Ubisoft games, while Jim Sterling was not a fan, like say like Assassin's Creed 2 or other things like that, or hating Ubisoft as it were. Okay. So I probably give like a Jesse Gender like a video watch.
That's really all I know about it is Jesse Gender video.
Yeah, and kind of Jesse Gender. It's kind of like the sides with like Lindsay Ellis, and yes, it's like maybe there should be like discussion to have, but like we gotta have like room to like make mistakes. Is the word, and like yes, so I can definitely understand that like there was like bad faith actors that were just shitting on like Lindsay Ellis because they wanted shit on Lindsay Ellis for whatever reason, as it were. But like not all of them were the Twitter hate mob that was criticizing her. The Twitter hate mob just hated her just because, but some of them had like legitimate criticisms that I don't know if like she like kind of addressed, as it were. There was like the mask off video, which I didn't watch, which maybe she did, but like I don't know like what half apologies she gave, and she did, as it were. So I'm then honestly not going off on a lot, but I think it's like at some point it is what it is, but criticism comes with the game of like Twitter or be on the internet, or that kind of thing of having a parasocial relationship with like your audience, presenting yourself on camera, vlogging, as it were, and also like having a Patreon where you're supplying yourself as a person to talk to or converse with, as it were, in this medium, as it were. So and also I think Twitter has its own problems too. Again, someone I never followed, someone I never really interacted with Twitter, responded to me because I was talking about Lindsay Ellis at the time that Lindsay Ellis was trending. So either he was going through the trending and find the latest and then respond to me at that time, or Twitter said, hey, here's the topic you're following, Lindsay Ellis, and here's this tweet from some random geek. So I think
speaking of dog piles, just apropos of nothing, there's a person that probably should get dog piled. You can see it now on the YouTube stream.
Yep, Elon Musk.
No, not that GIF. It's a different thing. Somebody,
okay.
A trans woman posted a picture of herself.
Oh, okay.
And somebody responded, "Get out my Glock." So yeah, that's something that could stand to be reported.
Yep, and Robinetta tweeted that they're very cool. I followed them on Twitter. We're mutuals.
Yeah, they're a male exclusionary rad femme, is what they call themselves. Yeah, that's a nice way of calling yourself a TERF.
Yep. Okay, reporting this like tweet. Yep. I gotta like click through like several different things. I'll have to figure it out later. I'm gonna save that for now. All right. Hey, so talking a bit about Glenn Beck. I think the big thing is just like he got COVID for the second time. Hey, let's see. I feel like she was like tried to control her audience and always saying not to harass the people she was like criticizing in the videos.
Yeah, Lindsay Ellis is not an edgelord type. I don't think she ever encouraged dog piles the way Sargon and Bering did.
Yeah, I agree that they did that, but it's kind of like I don't know. is I guess maybe, and maybe she did try to like stop her like a stance from like doing terrible things, but like that's why I was bringing up like the Inquisition podcast, when Gavin was like, so people just from being playful, just playing along with the joke, the Gavin is like sucking up to like Ubisoft or is getting paid by Ubisoft or something like that. So they go to Twitter, like reply to Gavin Nunes, or and then tag Ubisoft, or reply to Ubisoft tagging Miracle of Sound or something like that, and playing along with the joke. But that was bothered Gavin Nunes because it was hurting his like work relationship that he had with Ubisoft. He had a work relationship in that he would produce songs for Ubisoft and he would get like free games from Ubisoft or promotions from Ubisoft. So he finally asked police to stop doing that, as it were. So then Jim and like lowercase Nadale had to like say, okay, if you're a person that continues to do that, listen to this from now. You're the person that eats poo. You're just a poo eater. I'm sorry to say this, but you're a poo eater. So the people we like to like not hang out with poo eaters if you continue to do that. It's a way to like discourage our audiences from doing that sort of thing. Jim Sterling's kind of like got aware of like his size of his audience and what his audience can do, because like he accidentally showed a screenshot of someone's like web email address in a video he did. Now this was a person that did a terrible thing, as were or a shady thing, like a shady business deal, like cheated someone out of like money or like took something and sold something. So not a great person, but still, when he
doxing is not cool.
Yeah, exactly. With them, they found out that like people were harassing that email addresses. Were they quickly edited that video, took it down, edited the video, edited out the email address, as it were, and also like put up in the screenshot of like text, as it were. Don't do that. Do not harass this person. Do not dox this person. It's that you really should not do that. Even like H Bomber guy didn't realize that like when he showed up this video of someone plagiarizing his work, as it were, of how like Dark Souls is kind of cool, as it were, or making the exact same points that he made his Dark Souls videos. He showed that in his video, made a comment on that, and then that person took down that video because like the H-Bomb guy was kind of surprised, part because of the size of his audience, as it were, 100,000 subs, that like that person got harassed by H-Bomber guys like audience, and that was not his intention. But so like I think the size of your audience should have to be like be aware of, as well. Jordan B, I never liked Lindsay Ellis because my first impression of her was racist comments on Twitter, so I never was a fan or watched his videos. Yep. Other people have pointed out it's just like commenting here and there, as it were, which some like Justin Jenner would say are mistakes, as were, and maybe she can learn from that. But like Lindsay Ellis has always felt like the people that are trying to like correct her were the same as the Twitter mob. And also Lindsay Ellis was always a friend of like ContraPoints, as it were, and she never wanted to like shun her friend, as it were. Well, your friend ContraPoints is very problematic and like transmedicalist, as were, still is actually, and still is like problematic. But I think honestly now, anytime
still standing that, Buck Angel.
There's definitely that's problematic. But I think anytime now that like ContraPoints says something, she makes a video where she like portrays herself as like Marie Antoinette, so it's like that says something. But also like she would say comments of like, I don't get like asexuals, I don't even think it's a thing. I honestly think at that point either she is like honestly believes that, fuck her for that, this statement though, and God forbid she makes an asexual video like her fans want her to, but I think it's like, oh wait, she wants to get canceled again by saying something like, oh, look at what ContraPoint says about asexuality. So, but yeah. Oh wait, there was another piece of like interesting news I want to like share. Oh wait, there's also this thing I want to share too. Are you familiar with the game Tabletop Simulator?
The gay tabletop simulator?
Game Tabletop Simulator, the program Tabletop Simulator.
I am not.
Okay, so Tabletop Simulator, how long ago has it been around? Been on a long time. And like a lot of people use it for various different things. Been around for like over a decade, something like that. And so what has recently happened is the thing is like the Tabletop Simulator Discord and like the things. I think this is where it's like this is why you gotta have like a terms and services, and you gotta have like explicit rules of like no bigotry, no homophobia, none of this sort of stuff too.
Kick the Nazis out day one, otherwise you're gonna have problems.
Because that was what has happened in the Discord server. Is that like when because the pandemic was happening, and so LGBTOA plus folks were trying to like find other people to like play games with, and want to like they want to look for other queer table gay it wanted to find other queer gamers to play Tabletop Simulator with. And when they were asking such questions in the Discord server at the time, as it were, they were no, that was against the rules apparently. Saying gay or like queer or something like that, it's like being pro-gay was going against the family values rules in the Discord server and in the global chat. So people were realizing that like in the global chat there were things were being deleted somewhere that it kind of like it blew up into a culture war sort of thing. As if you go to like hold on, I gotta like open up Steam because if you go to Steam into the Tabletop Simulator like store page, positive reviews where it's like this game is great because like the gays are not playing this as were, or while it's like the negative reviews were about like the Discord server having terrible moderations and like modding away from queer folks as were, and allowing transphobia and homophobic comics to like stay again because of family values as were. I wonder if that's still the case now. But what the PC gaming article that I just posted as were. Whereas like the studio killed the global chat for good and it's made a $10,000 donation to a trans advocacy group because like yeah, that was what was happening in that Discord server as it were, because like the fascists were able, or the conservatives were able to be the mods of the Discord server as were, and there was like no rules of like explicitly against like homophobia and like a transphobia as were. And it was like controversial.
Family values is just code for white supremacy.
Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, that's good news because I was about to like say like forget Tabletop Simulator and get something else that a competitor as were. But I guess like the studio's Berserk Games is like finally making good on that, and like is like trying to like at least they make good for the LGBTQIA plus community, because again they were just trying to find like other not considering like queer people and family and balance is anti-family. I agree, Limpy. I guess yeah, just queer people want to find like other queer people.
10% of humanity is some kind of queer. 25% of homeless teenagers are queer.
Yes. Yes, roll 20. Yep.
That's what we use over Dungeons and Debacles.
Yeah, it's good news with like Tabletop Simulator, because that's what like some people use to like play poker on like stream just amongst friends, or like play some old games, because you can actually mod it to like include other games or whatever kind of games you want to. As where I'm just not too that familiar with it, so I don't know what's how well to like use its work. But there were I want to find in like the other news as were that was like very strange about what the right is doing. I'm trying to like find it and see. It was like posting one of the Discord servers as were because apparently I'm not gonna find the article. Talking amongst yourselves as we're on stream and researching. Come on, where is it? I was in one of these places. Okay, here it is. I had to scroll up, honestly. Is because this one I have to read to know if like it's true, but apparently that's happening. Now the anti-vaxxers are taking the HRT.
What? Anti-vaxxers are taking HRT?
Okay, just go read from the Them article. We thought that like guzzling horsey murmur was the most absurd thing that anti-vaxxers would do in the name of COVID denial. We weren't prepared to be so wrong. On Sunday, Fox News aired an interview with Dr. Peter Corey, president of an organization called Frontline COVID-19 Critical Care Alliance, through which Corey was advocating the use of an anti-parasitical drug in intermectin to treat COVID-19, even after contracting disease itself like theirs. Blame Big Pharma and the FDA, blah, blah, blah. Crown is like, hey, doing drug battles. This might sound like a setup for a extremely niche onion, but I swear Corey's actually, it actually wants. Let's see. It's from, yeah. So, yeah, no. It's apparently he wants like people to like take spironolactone. As it were.
Yeah, this is showing up on various news sites. Anti-vaxxers are taking feminizing HRT in their bullshit efforts to try and cure COVID.
Yep, and then like 6 milligrams of the anti-hair loss drug too as well. And they
growing tits to own the libs, I guess.
Yes, and these are the same group of people that would like say to us, like blaming us for like calling us to be feminized for being soy boys, for taking soy, being feminized for taking soy. No. They are. Yeah, no. They're just like want to like try very hard to like not take COVID-19, not do anything like that. But no, it's okay. So if you have no gender dysphoria, that's fine. Please admit that and like recognize the truth about yourself. But like, don't do it just to own lives. Yes. So it's spiritual lactone. I'm reading the article, Jordan from Jim P. I'm reading the article as I go, and like, and oh god, this is this is again, this is where the onion fails us because like truth is
cannot be parodied.
Yes, I agree. Like, this is heretic. We got like a meme that
growing tits to own the libs.
What's the world coming to?
Let's see. God damn, these people are fucking ridiculous.
So let's see what else is happening to the news. One thing I want to mention earlier, I saw a new movie last Friday.
What did you see?
I actually have like the poster in the background, so I'm going to like quickly grab it and show you. Yes, I actually did see it in IMAX too. I saw.
Oh, don't no porn. No.
Bell.
I've not heard of this.
It's the latest movie from the director Mamoru Hosoda. Japanese director, because he directed the anime movies Summer Wars, Wolf Children, The Girl Who Left Her Time, Boy and the Beast, and Mirai. That's the word. He's retelling Beauty and the Beast as were. Well, it's kind of like he is retelling Beauty and the Beast, but no, it's just like he has his other story of like this awkward high school girl who like they will love singing but stopped singing because her mom died, and that showed up at the beginning of the movie. And I was like, oh, we see the Souza's the main character is like mom, and then photo on the table. Okay, I see. And then like. Later on, we see like a montage as we're soft piano music, flashbacks, early childhood Suzo with her mother, and like
still a better love story than Twilight.
Yeah, still better love story than Twilight, exactly. But like as I say, it's like soft flashback montage, soft metal music, flashbacks, and then mom's like, oh damn it, Mamoru Hosoda, are you going to make me cry? This is the setup for a dead mother. This is the setup for a dead mother. Of course, Beauty and the Beast has to be a dead mother. Or like that was a missing mother.
No, it's just any story. You know, women are at their best when they're dead.
Mm-hmm. And so, but like overall, I did like enjoy Belle, which has Beauty and the Beast in it, and in the
well said, Jordan.
I can't picture a young trans girl in the anti-vaxxer conservative family. No, mom, not trans. I'm just curing COVID. Hey.
I'm going to spend the rest of my life curing COVID with this spironolactone.
anything I can do. Anything I can do. The Proud Nipple Boys. Oh, the Proud Nipple Boys.
Honestly, I think every trans woman grows tits is owning the libs. If by liberal you mean pro-conservative or pro-capitalist.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, pro-capitalist, pro-conservative. Yeah, exactly. Oh, pro, no radical change. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Pro status quo. So, as I was saying about just like I would say it had a strong beginning, and not great, but like okay, like a middle, but like a strong ending. If you like Mama Hasa's other works like Boy and the Beast, or Summer Wars or Wolf Children, Belle's not as good as Wolf Children or Summer Wars, because those are really good movies I really love a lot. But I enjoyed Belle quite a bit. Glad I saw it. Won't mind seeing it again. I won't mind owning it on DVD as it were, or Blu-ray. And so yeah, if you get a chance to see Belle, I do recommend to go see it because the music's also good too, since the music's one of the themes of the movies, because Beauty and Beast movies you often have singing in it anyway, as it were, and sometimes it's turned into a musical, so the music in itself is actually good. So if you want to search up the Belle songs on YouTube, you can listen to those and check those out, and check it out for yourself. I guess that's the solid thing, is that because it also a social media kind of thing, just like how Summer Wars had Oz that got infected by a virus in the movie and caused calamity, like a satellite being dropped on the person's house. Yes, that happened, or almost happened. This one has You, but it's just basically what Facebook wants the metaverse to be, or what Second Life was, as it were. But it was with You that the main character Suzo, who couldn't sing anymore, because every time she wanted to sing and wanted to be creative and sing or write music to work, she's reminded of her mother, so psychosomatically she can't sing. But once she was transformed into Belle in You, as it were, then she's able to sing, as it were, and then becomes a pop viral sensation and You, almost like Hatsune Miku, as it were. Yeah, so that's Belle. I enjoyed it. So what else has happened?
Let's see. Trump is getting booed by his fans because he's pro-vax now. Mm-hmm. And Candace Owen is trying to defend him, saying he's old. He comes from a time before TV when they didn't know to question authority. I think that's 2-week-old news. I'm behind my podcasts.
I'm kind of behind in my podcast too. I'm trying to remember things as were, which is why they should really, honestly, I should really write these down, or read the things I posted in things to chat about this were. I mean, this was week's old news, and I wanted to kind of do that with more people on this were, but yeah, Steve Shives I haven't seen the video that Steve Shives posted about arming the homeless, which is actually kind of his response to that same thing. Mm-hmm. And he's
no more guns isn't going to help. Give them homes, not guns.
Yeah, okay. And then, but I haven't wanted to actually wanted to. I kind of want to talk about that sort of thing, but I also want to read up more about that subject, as it were. But again, I think it's okay, listen to the marginalized people who are affected by that sort of things, as it were. All right, I'm not that big fan of guns myself. I'll take you. Thank you for stopping by, Emily Chambers. Take care. I feel sorry that you're not saying that I'm done. And yeah, take care. I love you coming by. Hope everything's doing all right. But thank you for stopping by. So I understand the arm, and then again, some people were pointing out that arming the homeless is not necessarily arming them with guns, but I'm more of a place I probably should listen to the people who are making the statements, or and listen to the man's work. I would not take away the guns from the Black Panthers, for example. They were actually defending their neighborhoods as well. Ronald Reagan.
I'm not saying disarm people. I'm just saying that arming people isn't necessarily the answer.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Is or I think it's like I think I think with the slogan of Armed Homeless, like as like Tom Morello puts on his guitar, as it were. Yes, I agree, Philippine. Listen, by people's always the best. I think it's kind of that bold statement as like old cops are bastards, or like that's other things as well. Yes, cheap, so kind of like slogans as it were, but like we want to like address a deeper issue as it were, like the unhoused just being, and there's going to be more unhoused, honestly, that's where, because like I think the eviction moratorium is again the can was kicked down the road. It's going to like come in May unless it gets kicked down the road again, as it were. But that doesn't stop some landlords as like them. Oh, is that true, Mytho? AT&T has announced that they're pulling on One American Network. Okay, I'm going to look this up.
The woke libs are canceling One American News.
Yes, HuffPo talking about this. I'm just gonna link the HuffPo article there on it. Yes, yes, they have been bankrolled. Yes, they were. No, wait. When was this?
Oh, that's from October. This was
the old one. No, okay. Ignore that one. DirecTV used something like One American News Network. Okay.
DirecTV's.
Oh wait. Okay, finally, something from like the San Diego's on it. What?
AT&T owns 70% of DirecTV, and DirecTV is dropping One American News. Hey,
okay.
Doodle. You can see somebody like that snow. Oh, you can't see him because the camera's not that good, but he's got snow on him.
Yep. Okay. Bloomberg's reported that like DirecTV says it will drop the Trump celebrating network in April. Okay. Yep. Yeah, so that does make sense.
I have not seen Landlord TikTok, but I'm not surprised to learn that it's pure evil.
Yeah, Limpy, all evictions are bonds, absolutely.
Property talk is what they call it. On Property Talk, landlords boast about all the money they're making.
Oh, yeah.
Last year.
Okay, yeah. I think where did I see that? Did I see that on Facebook as it were? Oh yeah. Like it was a tweet that someone made as it were of landlords. Show us like you make 3 times as much as your income as it were in order to be able to like rent this apartment as it were. There, to which the other person said, "Do you make 3 times your income?" Yeah, because you do have to like prove that like you can make 2.x times the rent in order to be able to rent an apartment. That's the word. But yet some people are denied mortgages because they make too little, so they are forced to have to like try to make 2 times to show that they can break in 2.x times the month of rent in the place. I fucking hate rent. I fucking hate housing thing. I don't know if I mentioned this on Social Justice Alchemy, but the last time I talked to my father about politics is where, stop me if I already told the story as it were, is I was like, oh yeah, work. He's asked me how I've been. I said, oh, work is like terrible because I've been working a lot. I hate to have complain about capitalism and having how like capitalism forces us to like work in order to live. He pointed to unhoused folks, saying like, I bet he has a great life. Kind of proving my point, isn't it? The whole reason we have unhoused folks is just so that there's like they discourages us from like complaining about like the terribleness of working as a work, or like, hey, you don't want to work, you can have like when the homeless. That's exactly what my former manager at my gas station said to me too. When, well, as I said, I was like reading the newspaper and got in trouble for doing that.
Time to lane, time to clean, time to read, time to shut up and work.
Hey, you're not paid to read the newspaper. I'm attending the gas station and I'm doing that. Once there's a customer there that needs help, I'll help them as it were. So until I have a customer, and when it's like 9 p.m. at night, there's not a lot of customers. I did work graveyard shift where I only get like 6 customers at most. That was boring shifts, as were. But again, my DS, my DS came in handy in a lot of those nights. I played a lot of games on my DS, as were. But yeah, so yeah, I had display problems because I also said to like my the manager at the gas station, and fake name. I'm going to come up with a fake name. Paul, growing old is mandatory. Growing up is optional.
I'm growing older, but not up. My metabolic rate is pleasantly stuck. Let those winds of time blow over my head. I'd rather die while I'm living than live while I'm dead.
Mm-hmm. So
Jimmy Buffett.
So when I was having disciplinary problems with like my manager, as it were, essentially, that was the reason. Like, I guess I can choose not to work, but I can choose to live on the streets. But it's like, it's not a choice for some people. I didn't have that like wherewithal to like respond to that. I just like didn't think that was convincing too, as it were. So I knew at like 22 or something like that I hate working. I just don't understand this because of capitalism, though. Because at 2004, I honestly thought like Ron Paul was actually kind of cool. Again, I was not critical of capitalism in 2004 around that time. This was around the time I was also...
In 2004, you were like 5 years old.
23. No, 20. No, 2004? No, wait. 30. What? No, wait. Yeah.
30?
No, 20. No, it wasn't 2004. It was 2008. 23, 24. That was like, yeah. I was born in 1984. I can't do... Oh, damn it. Am I already that tired?
In 2004, you were 20. In 2008, you were 24.
Yes. I forgot what time it was. I forgot when Ron Paul was like running as a primary candidate for the Republican Party. But no, I'm now critical of him because well, he also says cultural Marxism and all those other like far right puts. And his son is Rand Paul too, so actively cheated his way into like being a doctor, as were, because he would like instead of like studying for this test at like in med school, he would figure out what would be the subject on the test, as were, or figure out and trying to figure out what that test were, but then say to all these other students, oh, it's most likely it's going to be a lot about the liver. They're most likely going to talk things about the liver. It's most likely going to be a lot of liver. Basically spread rumors about that, as were, like in med school. So then all these other like students and colleagues would be studying about the liver, as it were. And then he will be studying about like other things, and he would do well on the test because his other students did poorly on the test. His other co-students did poorly.
Rating on a curve is stupid and wrong.
Yes, so that's how Rand Paul was able to become a doctor, cheating his way through it.
Yeah, that is the epitome of being a libertarian, screwing over other people to get ahead, and claiming that it's because you're better than other people.
Right-wing libertarians, law-petarians, yeah, as we're...
Try and guess this guy's political party. On his first day in office, Virginia Governor Glenn Youngkin banned teaching critical race theory and mask mandates in schools.
Republican.
Yep.
I wonder like which one of the I should not think about like 2024. 2022 is the election year anyway. It's just like we're so focused on this sort of thing. Ron Paul. I agree, Joe McCoy. That's the one thing that you can like. It seemed consistent with amongst like libertarians, law-petarians, as it were. They're just like anti-interventionism and say like war is bad, as it were.
Well, they only think it's bad because it costs them money. When they make money off war, they're all for it.
Oh yeah, that's true. Because like private property and everything else, that's more important than everything else. They are against the state, yet they want private property. Which is like trying to like ask them to say, how is it that you can enshrine private property, as it were. Who enforces that? And some of them don't take that line of questioning well, as one interview with Sam Cedar proved.
Mm-hmm. They're against interpersonal violence until you come for their property.
That's right. Okay, that's right. Cinema Sins, yes. Kristen Cinema and Joe Manchin. So that's the biggest thing in politics news. Was talked about for, because that's right. Tomorrow is Martin Luther King Day. And that was
Happy Token Day, everybody.
Exactly, and that's the thing. Martin Luther King, Martin Luther King III, and the children of Martin Luther King, the grandchildren of Martin Luther King, all those, the family of Martin Luther King, are saying, don't fucking celebrate his day if the Congress is not able to pass voting rights as were, and that's the thing that Chuck Schumer is promising that they would, in order to pass the voting rights is where there's still two bills. I forgot which one's the weaker one and which one's the better one. I think John Lewis one's the weaker one, but still they have to better enshrine voters' rights, because on state and local levels, the Republicans are dismantling the voters' rights as were, just like they did in the civil rights in the past as were, with all these other things of the Lakota spice idea of private property on stolen content. That's yes. So the commie, that's a word. You're a Lakota communist, or a commie Lakota. Yes, yeah, exactly. Private property on stolen content. Yes, we got to remember this as we're, and I'm sure the law libertarians would love to talk about that too, as it were, honoring treaties as it were, but they don't believe in states. But anyway, so Chuck Schumer promised that we will dismantle, or we will vote to remove the filibuster in order to pass the Voting Rights Act as were. If we need to remove the filibuster in order to do that, we will do that. But Christian Sinema and Joe Manchin, because they're conservatives, or because they enjoyed the spotlight of being the contrarians of the Democratic Party, the rotating villains as were, said no to that. Joe Manchin, I think it's just all because of tradition as it were, and tradition of being a coal baron and being funded well by the coal lobby of West Virginia and all that sort of, and line his pockets. But they both said they are not willing to get rid of the filibuster in order to pass the Voting Rights Act. And since they're not being able to get rid of the filibuster, which they need 60 votes in order to pass both things. But all the Republicans are against it. There seems to be locks and steps, so there's no way to get 10 votes to be able to pass the Voting Rights. I'm not even sure if Sinema or Joe Manchin will be willing to pass the Voting Rights Act either, honestly.
Joe Manchin has said he's willing to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but he's not willing to give.
But Joe Manchin is a vile piece of shit, so who knows?
Joe Manchin said several things. And so this is why actually in House, when the House infrastructure bill was happening, this is not the Buy Back Better Act. This is another bill, another $1.5 billion bill. But this was a pro-business kind of bill, where it's to give a lot of subsidies to contractors to be able to vote for hard infrastructure. So the squad, Cory Bush, Jamal Bowman, and that crowd, they voted. No, not Cory Booker.
You said Cory Bush.
I said Cory Bush. So who did I meant by Cory Bush? She's the woman from Missouri, the new Congresswoman, and yeah. Who was in the Ferguson protests in 2015 during Black Lives Matter in response to Malcolm Brown's death. The squad of those six, AOC and others, they voted against that. They did not vote yes on that. While Pamela Jayapal, head of the Progressive Caucus in the House, she did vote for it because Joe Manchin or Biden pink and squared that they would pass the Buy Back Better Act. That's were. So they could have not Jamal Powerful and the rest of the Progressive Caucus, including my congressman Anna Smith, could have not voted yes on that bill, which was a pro-business bill, the hard infrastructure bill, because they were voting on. They could restrict that. And they had not voted yes on it, so that it would fail to to strong arm everyone else and say, no, you gotta like vote for us with the progressives in order you want anything to be done. You need our votes to get things done. So if you don't have our votes, then you're not getting it done. But except for the six, except for the squad, the rest of the Congress, like, yeah, sure, yeah. So let's pass this bill, as it were. The progressives saying that, like, well, Joe Manchin and Joe Biden has to pinky swear to us. They'll pass the Buy Back Better Act, but Joe Manchin refused to like vote for it. So it's like we're coming up in like, so at the end of the first year of Joe Biden, a lot of promises, which, yes, as a politician, politicians make a lot of campaign promises, but like the only thing that he hasn't really delivered much on like anything else. Because like, okay, yes, he was better response to COVID-19 than like Trump, but like after like the vaccines rolled out and like everyone that wanted to get boosted, no requirement for vaccines. It seems like how many
don't forget the $2,000 turning into $1,400.
Yes, exactly. I agree that like it was harm reduction because of the only two choices at the word time the general was like a piss cocktail and the shit sandwich, as were. The only people that honestly benefited from like Joe Biden honestly was anyone that had children, as because of the child tax credit, as were. They were getting checks each month or deposits into their accounts to be able to like help pay for the kids and for the kids to eat. However, Joe Biden did not like force the schools to close or like when the or to shut things down. Were I don't. But the thing is, I think Robert Adams has said this on like it could happen here. I don't know if Joe Biden could have or any other state governor could have actually shut things down because unfortunately terrorism works. In that the far right terrorists were astroturfing the like open up like protests, as it were, which astroturf and funded heavily by like the DeVos family and other and the Koch brothers and those kind of networks. But that worked because like scared all the Democrats, like, okay, let's not try any like shutdowns, as it were. But at least
let's not try and help people. That would be bad for.
Yes,
image.
That's something that Joe Biden could still done, or the Democrats could still done. Giving people checks, giving people money, giving people ways to be able to like stay home, and give them the options to stay home, as it were. You know what? I remembered from like listening from like the past weeks of It Could Happen Here. Great podcast to listen to, as it were. Miss Rose says one point of contention I had with my I'm not right-wing friend was her claim that the indigenous people of the now U.S. were constantly fighting bloody wars. I just disagree somewhat. The white people were occupying those like territories. Joey can like
was she saying that they were fighting bloody wars before white people showed up? Because only a little. After white people showed up. Yeah, it's called self-defense.
Yes, it was totally self-defense. Again, Joe can attest to this. The Lakota people had treaties with the white people, as were. The white people broke those treaties when they discovered gold in the Black Hills. That's why Wounded Knee.
Over and over again, white people broke those treaties.
Yes, over and over again, white people had broken those treaties, and it's just like, and that's what the indigenous people have been like saying for thousands of times. I mean, what the like treaties for the indigenous that the white people signed to the indigenous people have they actually uphold? And it's very few, honestly. There's like more treaties that they like broken that they uphold. This is a white supremacist country. So there was another point. I was on a track with like a different point. Oh yeah. So Joe Biden, if there was a bloody war all over my continent before Europeans arrived, why are the only mass graves we have since they arrived? Just saying. Excellent point, Joey. Excellent point. There wasn't mass graves of indigenous people until white people showed up. Yes, exactly. Is she how like okay? If she is saying pre-invasion that there were bloody wars going on with indigenous people, that's where we got to ask for proof. Just show us this proof. Show us archaeological finds. Show us scholarly works. Show us those things. White people are still breaking those treaties, as we're absolutely. because like as Joey said before when they were on like the show a long time ago, that the biggest bully in the entire world is the United States. And again, like the Lakota, the Dumawash, the Micmacs in those in Canada, the Mohawks, Cherokee, the Hopi, Navajo, they're all semi-sovereign nations. They're their own nations. And if they have a problem with the United States, who's occupying them, they're on top of them, as were, have to take it up to the UN, as were. And the United States does not listen to the UN or World Trade Organizations or any of those.
No, those are tools for the U.S. to do its colonization. They're not
Exactly.
to govern the U.S.
Yeah, so it's just like so that's why it's a pain in the ass to like get treaties honored, as it were. But like, unfortunately, more of us white people got like step up and said maybe we should honor these treaties, or like we should honor these treaties. That's like shit that we're doing, as it were, or stand with the Lakota people at Standing Rock, or like I forgot the name of the tribe that's like protecting the water protectors, that's trying to prevent Enrich Line 3 pipeline. But yeah, that's a whole tangent we can still go on to as we're and talk about that as we had talked about before. And Joe Biden hasn't done much of like doing this to people. Yes, it's a world's first and a United States first for an indigenous woman to be in the cabinet and one of the heads of the positions of were. Yes, that's like something. That's not nothing. This representation does matter, but it's I think it's kind of like tokenism. I listened to like that woman, and I forgot her name, honestly, and I forgot the like positions in. I don't want to say in the position to like interior design or something like that. It's got to be like something is significant coming from these appointments as were. Otherwise, it'd be like Kamala Harris, where the first black woman as vice president as were. Okay, what has she done for like women or for black people as it were? Because they still have not passed voting rights.
She has kept immigrants from coming here. That's helped save American jobs for American people.
Yes, right. She did tell Guatemalan refugees don't come.
Mm-hmm.
Even though we were shit to the Guatemalan people for like decades, still are. Yeah. So I don't. There's like the only thing that like Joe Biden has like really done was the child tax credit, but that child tax credit has expired. Last I knew, starting this year, starting the beginning of January, as it were. So while people were getting checks, they had children, and again, mean tested, which is always a terrible thing.
Oh, I hate means testing.
Mm-hmm. And I guess I'm sure like the mean testing sort of thing is like with a lot of problems for a lot of people of why that like have to like struggle to get like checks from the government and this word for all the things. Okay.
Means testing is just a good way to not help people.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
That's all it's for.
But even the people that were getting checks for the child tax credit, as a word, lifted a lot of children out of poverty. It's like that's ended because the Biden was like hoping that that was part of the Build Back Better Act, which again was reduced from 7 trillion to like 1.5 trillion, and many different like provisions that like they promised on. There's Sasha. What's left out of it? Like the Sasha. Hello, Sasha. So I'm gonna shut up now as there's cat on the screen. and Sasha finally sees your hand and it's like, yeah, no, yeah. But yeah, and Sasha being cute and playful and attacking and being a predator. Yeah, there's like several promises that Biden did not follow through on. It's just like
he has tried on some, but largely failed because the Democrats are weak and not inclined to fight.
Yes, exactly. This is the same thing with like Barack Obama when he was president. He was not willing to fight with his conservative members of the party, as it were. Mm-hmm. So and I know that like liberals, Steve, honestly, it says like if nothing is going to be done, that's why we need 60 of the senators to be like Democrats, as it were. At this point, with Manchin and Cinema and any other like conservative like senators that were not willing to who would spoke up if it weren't for Cinema and Manchin, it's not a guarantee even if there's like 60 Democrat senators to be able to like pass anything if they wanted.
And would they try to pass anything that would really, really help? This Voting Rights Act would be good.
Mm-hmm.
But would they try for it if they didn't think it would fail? I mean,
yeah.
Are they willing to pretend to put up a fight only when they know they'll lose?
Yeah. It feels like it kind of like how Hillary Clinton was not in favor or supportive of like gay rights or same-sex marriages in 2013. She was it seemed only to be in favor of that once the wind changes enough that like more than 50% of people were in favor of it, as it were. And so that was always kind of like a disheartening. It's just like she could have really gotten like a further on that, as it were, but like she was always a career politician. Which is why I have a problem with the "I'm with her" crowd, as it were.
See, and the blue, no matter who. I mean.
Yeah, the blue, no matter who. Has Biden kept any of the Social Security campaign promises? I don't know. Yeah. We have the same problem in the UK. Sick ear Starmer. Sick ear Starmer is relying on the fact that like he's in Alexander Boris de Pfeffel Johnson. Okay, so correct me if I'm wrong, Mithra, because there's some happenings in Navarre media as well, where or the Navarre media reported on like Boris Johnson finally got humiliated by Keir Starmer for something. And Boris Johnson might no longer be the leader of the Tories or something like that. He's still the leader of the Tories in the PM right now, but there's rumblings that like he might no longer be the PM for like very long, as we're after listening to my podcast while I'm at work. But yeah, I'm working on a lot still.
Maybe in a couple of years, enough conservative shitwits will have died of COVID that the entire world will shift left.
Honestly, that's the only time I see change actually happening is when the
one funeral at a time.
Yes, as because like Henry Kissinger still has not died yet. When he will finally die, because that'll be another gender neutral bathroom to use as well.
War criminal, genocidal piece of shit, Henry Kissinger.
Now. There's a celebrity death that did happen, Bob Saget, as it were. But it's like, I did enjoy him in Full House, and he was a great host of America's Funniest Home Videos, and I'm sure there's like a lot of jokes that I laughed at too. But it's kind of like I was seeing other jokes he had made, and his work, and I'm like, like about the Olsen twins or stuff like that. No. Yeah, I agree. The cost of living adjustment needs to happen, and in general, is because like the SSI asset limit is still at $2,000, and that's just ridiculous. As we're, his popularity has plummeted since all the stuff about. Oh, that's right. That's it. That the boozy party at the. I remember it now. Yes. So Boris Johnson, well, was somewhat competent. Not saying he was great on it, but confident about like COVID-19 restrictions and telling people to stay homes or social distance or do not be in the gatherings of more than 8 people, or if you make sure that if you are going out to like do not mix too many houses. He was doing all that, telling people that's what they should do. Is come out recently. He was at a party with several different people, a boozy party at Downing Street in the UK while lockdown was happening. So this was a politician that was actually embarrassed by his hypocrisy. And that's what Keir Starmer brought up to like cheers from like those who opposed Boris Johnson. So it's like he might actually lose his prime ministership, or at least lose leadership of the Tory party when the Tories finally have their like a leadership election again, all because of that boozy party, as it were. So hey, sometimes these scandals actually worked out because there was like also another
because the UK isn't quite as bad as the US.
So they're still Turf Island. They are still Turf Island as like Marty and like Mithril, and
they're still colonialist white supremacists, but
oh yes,
they're not quite as openly fascist as we are.
Not just telling people it was in law. Oh, so with the law, so that he tried that in law, but he went to a boozy party at Downing Street. I see. So, hey, so yeah, so the UK people are the leadership, the government of the UK is kind of at least taking their leader, the prime minister, to task of like not following the laws that he set out. That's where. So the UK still has a whole
different.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, the UK still has this whole host of problems. It's still not great. I still have like comrades who are disabled and like have like are having difficulties struggling to like say, I'm not well, I can't really work, I really need to like be able some help to or to like get by and be able to live and something like that. Probably should like a DM that from a friend of mine to like say, hey, come on to talk about these sort of things and like hang out in the chat. Because yeah, the UK, even though the UK is better in the United States for a lot of reasons, that's a low bar. That is a low bar. Yeah, him being ashamed, it's just like it's kind of I mean, it's kind of weird for conservatives to be ashamed as it were.
It's kind of weird for the far right to be ashamed. Conservatives still feel ashamed. Democrats feel ashamed all the time.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Exactly.
I will always push back against the far right's corruption of terms like conservative and liberal and all that shit.
Agreed. Yeah. So that's the news that happened in the UK. What other news am I going to happen?
Let's see. We talked about Emma Watson last week, didn't we? Yes.
Yeah. Yes. Emma Watson last week. And so we're. Oh wait. There's actually there might be actually some good news as well. I'm gonna like open up the link. Yes. Okay. Post this into the chat just because this looks like a good news as well. As like Natia reached as 1.85 billion settlements over student loan practices. That's where. So basically, and Natia is one of the nation's largest like student loan companies. As were. It's a 1.585 billion settlement with a coalition of state attorney generals as well to resolve allegations that it steered borrowers into costly repayment plans and predatory loans.
That's something that Biden could do with a stroke of a pen. He would not need to compromise or work with anybody. He could just eliminate all student loans.
Oh yeah, that's another thing that like Biden is shit at. And I've been doing, and we should say fuck Joe Biden for doing because like
I don't think he ever promised to do that either.
To be fair, yeah, he never promised to do that. Chuck Schumer wanted to push Biden to get him to like cancel at least $50,000 or something like that, but Biden said no. And I don't even know if he'd like cancel $10,000 as were. There was some cancellation of student debt that like Biden did, but it's like it's pennies. When you actually look, it looked like a big number, like $20 million or something like that, but spread out to like thousands and thousands of different students and like that. It was really like pennies compared to like the billions of dollars that like is like in operating loan and student debt as were. But I think so. This like a settlement from the Tivia, I think it was finally going to like cancel some new student debts that's were here it have as well because of their allegations of like of predatory lending this were, which is like
it's almost like capitalism forces you to be a monster.
So this is the thing that like Sears, which what's the company that has its own set of problems at the end of his life because like a guy was I ran like
Joe Mnuchin tore it apart and went full Gilded Age robber baron on that shit.
Yes, exactly. But before that,
Joe
like I don't know who like maybe Tim. I don't know who would like in charge.
Steve
of, like,
Mnuchin.
Sears.
There we go.
Steve Mnuchin. As well.
He did the same thing to Kmart.
Oh man!
Just buy people up, you know, just suck out all the profits and assets, and leave the company with nothing but debt, and then just walk the fuck away.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened to Tours R Us too. I'm sure that happened when Quiznos or something like that. But like long before that happened, my oldest sibling, this is the leftist ones in Oregon, did work at Sears, and there was a thing as it were where they kind of offered like a credit, Sears kind of credit as it were, and there's a provision in that credit as it were where basically you can like I have automatic payments of it. That's where up. That's where Sasha. That's where Sasha is right now. Basically, it was a way for you to automatically make payments on the credit or loan or something like that from Sears for whatever purchase you made indefinitely, even after death. Essentially, it was a basically a predatory, sneaky way to get you to pay monthly for something that you probably already paid for after like months on end. This is worth that because of recurring interest and stuff like that. I thought like asked my brother, my older sibling, what the fuck it was, but like, no. Well, long before he became a leftist, like I am, as it were, he felt guilty for going through the sales pitch and trying to like sell students and sell college students that are trying to buy like a computer or like something for like dorm as it were, and then had to like force to be paying this thing for like years every month or like years on end as it were. It was really predatory, really shady as it were, just like get you to be able to like pay money every month for like something you don't barely use. But yeah, a lot of these like it's almost like payday loan is spending as were, but it's just like buying something instead of like payday loans. And but like because of recurring interest as were, you're just always have like paying on the interest instead of like actually paying down the payments or even though, yes, this is coming from someone who has a lot of credit card debt. I know, I'm never going to pay off the credit card debt. I'm just going to like have that and just know I have that and just like going to die with it, honestly. If that means I'm never going to get a car, that's fine. I'm not going to drive. I'm never going to get a house. How many millennials are going to get a house? I'm just hoping for a jubilee or communism. But that's what it is. So hopefully, hopefully like a lot of like is a lot of like students, especially like students who went to like those like for-profit schools like the ITT Technical Institute or like all those art institute schools and stuff like that. I'm sure they're fine schools, but they're for profits too. They're for-profit schools, so like they're really predatory as well.
Yep. I refuse to work at one of those things. There's one like literally right next door to me. Shortest commute in the world. I could just walk right next door to go to work, and I refuse to even consider it.
Mm-hmm. DeBry, University of Phoenix, all these other Trump University. It's more important to get money because yes, state universities now are like treating students as customers, and that's so terrible. That's not the great relationship that's the word. Is because the universities increasingly are having less and less like tenure professors as well, and have more adjunct professors. Yeah, it's like more and more vicarious work as well. And so there was like a documentary about like the declining degrees as it were that PBS like did. They covered these problems a decade ago, and so where there's problems still. And it was true that like the states for state universities, they did subsidize like those universities quite a bit, but like something happened. I'm going to guess Reagan. Just going to guess Reagan. Just the feeling Reagan. The subsidies cut. They used to be 50%. Those state universities, University of or State University, blah, would get 50% of its like revenue or budget from essentially from the state as it were. And there's if you in that state, it's still cheaper to go to those state universities as opposed to like going out of the state. And there's like grants and all those sort of things. So it is still beneficial to do that. Okay, no, I'm looking at the She-Ra meme. Yeah, so it's okay. You're not a burden. It's okay. Your feelings matter. That is just too cute.
That show was so wonderfully gay.
Yeah, that show was so wonderfully gay. He-Man was a disappointment though, but that's fine because like, okay, I can avoid watching the He-Man though. I'll just watch the classic He-Man if I'm interested.
Why would you watch a toy commercial every day? I mean, that's That's all it was after Reagan.
Yeah, thank you, Reagan. It's like, I mean, that was what Transformers and G.I. Joe's are. Toy commercials. Thundercats, too. Toy commercials. Young Justice for the first 2 seasons were toy commercials, too. But that was happened to be a good show. Hi, Sasha. What was going? Okay, decline decrease. Yeah. But then like when the states for some reason just like cut the subsidies for like budgets for like state universities from 50% to 35%, then the universities had to like make up that money and revenue somehow.
Mm-hmm.
And so and oh yeah, and the universities now are still like basically, oh, you want to like access to this paper that our grad students or like our doctorate students are like writing, or the professors are writing, the professors that would want them to write these papers to get into like scientific journals and all these other magazines and stuff like that, to give like yes, Sasha is interested in the camera. Those universities are now pay gating those papers. Those
they've always been gated. It's just that
yeah,
they used to be, they had the paper archives and you could go into the library and access the old journals, but now they're getting rid of those in favor of electronic stuff, and which means that even people who have physical access to the university, which was already a fairly small group, no longer have access to those journals.
Yeah, so getting like access to like all these like papers and studies and all these other things, for people who use Google Scholar, for example, it's just like
you can get the abstract and that's it.
Yep, just the abstract, that's it. Some say that if you really want that essay, you can contact or email the author, and generally speaking, because those people who write those papers, they want people to read them, so they will.
That's the point.
Yeah, is information, education, and that should not be like gated. It should be all from the source. If you ask for you, they probably will provide you because they want people to read their stuff as work and cite it too. Because not every professor is like James Lindsay and Peter Boghossian that want to prove that like.
That trans people are rapists and black people are actually Stalin.
And gender studies is like bunk. Or social sciences, that's it. The social sciences was like corrupted and just you can make shit up and get like the penis hoax paper printed. Which, yes, there are pay to print papers that they took them to.
Capitalism is ruining science.
That's something that I also shared on my Facebook, is where to be able to get access to all those like things, you have to like to pay to get the access to the papers. Oh, and there's also like this opinion piece. I don't know when this opinion piece like happened in like the Washington Post. Opinions. It's time to give the elites a bigger say in choosing the president. Remember, Washington Post is owned by Lex Luthor / Jeff Bezos, the feudal lord of Seattle. It's not bad enough for Lex Luthor that there's already oligarchy, that he can like fund both political parties and like pretty much get like what he wants. As Joe Biden said on the campaign trail, don't worry, Wall Street, nothing's going to fundamentally change. No, Jeff Bezos just wants, or whoever wrote that opinions article for the Washington Post, Democracy Dies in Darkness, no, the elites should have more control. Okay, yeah, we don't want people to vote, just like the founding fathers.
Well, we don't want the wrong people to vote. That's for damn sure.
Oh, that's right, the wrong people to vote.
And you know they're the wrong people if they vote for the wrong things.
We don't want to give the landless peasants to be able to vote. They'll vote to redistribute the land. We don't want to give them power. Those were the people that they considered people at the time. Because women,
Remember, when they talked about the tyranny of the majority, they meant poor people.
Yes, they did. So every time that I'm advocating for direct democracy, well, what about the tyranny of the majority? What, you mean the poor people like us? Even like unfortunately, even like Steve Shives thinks that like social pressure is mob rule, and it's just like, why are you afraid of the mob? And who's the mob? Also, but yeah, you kind of enjoyed the new Hey Man. I mean, maybe if I'm bored, I'll watch it, but it's just like, Again, I still want to watch the classic She-Ra because I love the Netflix She-Ra so much. Might rewatch it too because of how wonderfully gay it is. Let's see. We're approaching the 2 hour mark, and I think I kind of ran out like a thing to like talk about.
Not much has been happening. That's the thing about winter. It is the dead season. Nothing happens this season.
Yeah, and also I've like again I've been like working a lot, but finally I got all the major stuff done at work that I think I can like take the day off, not going to work, and just relax as it were. Damn it! And my friend is posting like what they're cooking for dinner. It's like that looks lovely. Brussels sprouts, onions, mushrooms, carrots, tiny potatoes, in a typical roast. So it's like all those vegetables down at the bottom with the meat on top of it. Damn it, that looks good. Anyway, so yeah, I think we're going to close the show for now. It was just me, John, and Zaya.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and I even prepared fishy fashy this week, but no, there's nobody here. People were getting sick with the plague and stuff.
We love you, Julie. We love you, Mehmet. I hope you both are doing well. I hope Tom's doing well. Don't know what's happening with like him, but like he's a spoony too. So sometimes he's just like not awake, not tired somewhere. I didn't send the link to Tavi, but then Tavi's also like not doing well right now. So I hope Tavi like does better as well. So I didn't bother her with that. I'm thinking about rewatching Zero too. It's just such a good show.
I'm gonna rewatch Cowboy Bebop. I think I just finished rewatching all of Psych.
Ooh,
Psych was fun. I even watched the 3 movies. They released a 3rd movie this past November.
Oh yeah, I think I watched a little bit of like Psych. Yeah.
I mean, ideologically, the fact that they're working with the cops isn't great, but it's still fun.
I mean, my favorite anime is the Ghost in the Shell standalone complex. That was the cop drama. Mm-hmm. I only saw like 15 minutes of the new Ghost in the Shell CGI animated show on Netflix, and it's just like they're fighting against like anarchists or radicals. I'm gonna side with them. Like, I don't know. I'm sorry, you're going to present freedom fighters unless the freedom fighters are being like taken advantage of by evil corporation dude from somewhere far away funding the coup and stuff like that. I'm sorry, I'm going to like advocate for the freedom fighters, like the IRA or other things like that.
Well, Ben Shapiro just posted an article on the Daily Signal in which he just basically openly talks white supremacist bullshit.
Daily Signal.
The Daily Signal. I think that's his.
No, the Daily Wire is the thing he owns.
I don't know what the Daily Signal is.
He probably does post something to the Daily.
Yeah, but it basically he's like talking about the great resorting as opposed to the great replacement. They called Bill de Blasio a radical, not an uber radical.
Bill de Blasio. They think Joe Biden's a communist. Again, Ben Shapiro appeared on the BBC, and the BBC reporter was challenged. I think it was actually like a PM or something like that, was challenging him on his stance on abortion, as it were. Like Ben Shapiro was supporting the Georgia state's like abortion bans, as were as terrible as they are. The BBC reporter was just challenging him in those positions, and Ben Shapiro then is like, why don't you just admit it that you're a left wing radical? To which the guy said, Mr. Shapiro, if you know who I am, you would know how ridiculous that question was, because he was a Tory.
Yeah. In which case, he's just far right wing as opposed to the openly fascist piece of shit that is Ben Shapiro.
Mm-hmm. A failed Hollywood writer. Robert Evans, Cody Johnson, and Katie Stoll on like some Worst Year Ever have been reading his like short stories. He doesn't know anything about writing a good short story. He doesn't know anything about
know anything about anything. The dude is mediocre on a good day.
Mediocre on a good day. He successfully grifted enough to get like oil billions and be funded, as it were, to be a propagandist, as it were. Just like Charlie Cook. I don't know what Charlie Cook did before turning Bird USA. I just know that like
he was in college.
That's
he did nothing.
It. Yeah.
I think he started TPUSA in college.
Mm-hmm. And got funding from the Koch brothers, or one of those people. Yeah.
If there's anything the far right's good at, is that they have a pipeline. They get these kids young and turn them into far right wing douche canoes.
Mm-hmm. And some of them stay douche canoes up until like their later lives, like Dennis Prager. Dennis Prager seems like he believes that shit too, as well. He loves the money too.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Can't wait to see what happens to Carl Rittenhouse.
Especially as he
super depressing.
Yeah, especially as he went to the bar to like with the Proud Boys. His mom drove him to the bar and dropped him off at the bar.
He is going to stay ensconced in a far right wing bubble his entire life, and he will never, ever become a decent person. That's my guess.
Yeah, exactly. Again, they funded his legal proceedings. That's where. I mean, it's like successful Gryffindor, and that's kind of remind me that like I just listened to the Behind the Bastards of the nice, decent people that became Nazis, as were many of them were the small business owners that were just afraid of being poor, like the actual working class poor of Germany, as it were. Those were the ones that were.
The centrists will always side with the far right.
The whole book of Big Misses of Fascism is how the fascists of Italy and Germany like side with the big businesses in order to like fund their whole things.
Remember, privatization, the word was invented to describe what the Nazis were doing when they dismantled the Weimar Republic.
Hey Phoenix, how are you doing? You're not doing well. It's hard that the government's like treating you like shit and just like want to take away your benefits. So I hope something changed about that, honestly, Phoenix. Give Phoenix money. Again, the link to the thing. Okay. I still need to get Disney Plus because like I already got Hulu as well.
Or you go to watchmovie.cc. Lower video quality, but free.
Okay, there's good. Because yeah, I have not caught up with.
Don't do that, kids. Piracy is wrong. You wouldn't download a car.
Well, why wouldn't you? Download a car. That sounds awesome.
I mean, if I could download a car, I would download a car. Fuck it.
It is. I mean, yes, there are some people that are kleptomaniacs that will just like steal because they can steal. But no, you don't need to like have a guard outside the room of free stuff, because if you don't have a guard there, then people will take all the free stuff and out of the room, and you're denied free stuff. You can just like put free stuff.
If you can make infinite stuff, then there's not a problem.
Yes, you can put more stuff in there to replace the stuff that's been taken. And why is that person taking all that free stuff? Maybe we should look at the situation like that as well. I understand how people say like people are shit as it were, but like individualizing like systemic issues as were is what's keeping us like not being able to fight against systemic problems. And sadly, that was the plot of Falcon and Winter Soldier. The anarchists were the bad guys, very misunderstanding of anarchists, and made them like crazy cult, and then like actual anarchists. Yeah, I heard about even Denise Sarkeesian kind of retweeted about that. Download more Dodge Ram. Limpy, that excellent pawn, and that one didn't require any special like Linux like thought processor. Were I know you, Limpy, you would make it kind of like a data coding joke that's bad as well. Really? Disney bought the rights to like a Terry Pratchett's Mort,
and they asked if they could have less death stuff in it.
Okay, would Julie like mind if there's less death stuff in it? Okay, so I mentioned that would be okay. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It's just like I mentioned that the death stuff is kind of like important to like Terry Pratchett.
Death goes on vacation and he takes Mort on as an apprentice. I mean, that's the story. Oh my god.
All right, call him Baphomet or something like that. But you have to actually get the like a copyright from like the Satanic Temple, because they actually did like copyright that. So you use a Baphomet without permission, you'll get in trouble with that. That actually happened. That actually happened to like a TV show. It's like, oh, here's Baphomet from the Satanic Temple as a word. This is like fair use. No, it's not.
That was actually in Sabrina Teenage Witch. I don't think they copyrighted Baphomet himself. That's a God. I think they copyrighted the image, the goat-headed statue.
Yes, probably. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Is we want to do the story about death, but we don't want death in it. Can you? Okay. Ancient Lord or something like that. They have to like turn death into like something else. I don't know why. Yeah, but even the Sarkeesian like retweeted as like it's kind of funny as like anarchism was rising in popularity or like being like more covered in news as were or being well known about, or at least amongst young people like myself or millennials and Zoomers, like more people becoming anarchists. There's an the Falcon and Winter Soldier plotline. The anarchists are the bad guys. The main
Weird.
Yeah. Oh, I know. Like Joe Biden's administration said, like anarchists or anti-capitalists are terrorists too. So it's like, anyway,
but they can't recuperate. They simply attack.
Yes, exactly. I mean, like they sell Che Guevara T-shirts, so they're probably going to sell anarchist T-shirts too. If they can like brand it and like make money off it, absolutely they will do that. Society is spectacle as it were. I mean, again, Pride is like a sponsored event now. When the first one was a motherfucking riot.
Mm-hmm. No cops of Pride.
No cops of Pride. Is they can come if they're gay and queer. They can come to Pride, but out of uniform. Out of uniform. The only good cop is an ex-cop. So stop being cops, and you're a good person now again. Or you're not. You can be a good person out of uniform, absolutely. But when you're in uniform,
Dave, it can be a good person. Officer Smith cannot.
Mm-hmm. So yeah.
Right. And with that, let's go ahead and call it a day.
Don't forget the charity links page down in the description below. Desires YouTube channel, my YouTube channel, Julie's YouTube channel, even though there's only things up there is a cat video, but it's a fluffy cat. Summer and Geek, twitch.tv is my Twitch channel. I might Twitch later today. Maybe I'll eat some lunch and then do some laundry and take care of some recycling, do some middle thing, but then later Twitch stream. Not sure what I'm gonna stream, probably play Dead Souls or something like that. Finally got a chance to stream Twitch. So yeah, twitch.tv/SummerandGeek. And John Brockman, you're part of another podcast.
Dungeons and Debacles. I already mentioned it when we were talking about Tabletop Simulator.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you use Roll20 as it were. Yes, it is evening now, David Scott. Yes, it's fine. It's
it's afternoon.
It's literally afternoon.
Stop getting into the international Jewry, David. God. All right. And yes, I'm joking when I said that. All right. But have a nice day, everybody. Stay safe. Hydrate, medicate, masturbate.
Self-care.
And yes, murder is okay. In Minecraft.